Hi, I'm Ruth Verco, and welcome back to Demystifying Child's Play, the podcast that brings you more joy, connection, and less frustration in your everyday parenting through making sense of what's really going on in your child's play, and it's a lot easier than you think. This episode is part 3 of our 10-part series, exploring the top 10 play schemas, those repeated patterns in play that gives you the why behind how your child plays. Today, we're diving into the Transformation Play Schema, one of the most magical, mesmerising, and yes, often messy ways children learn about the world. What you're about to hear is taken directly from inside the Play Schemas Collective membership. It's a little sneak peek into the video library where I support parents to understand what their child's play is communicating and how to work with it, rather than against it. In this module, we'll explore what transformation play actually looks like in real life, why children are so driven to mix, squish, pour, paint, and experiment, and why this kind of messy play is not only normal, it's deeply important for brain development. If you'd like the free resources that go along with this, head to playschemas.com/free. That's play, schemas.com/free, and you'll see all the downloads there. All right, let's dive into the Transformation Play Schema. Here, we're diving into one of the most magical, mesmerizing, and sorry to say, messy play urges our children experience. The Transformation Play Schema. When we talk about schemas, we're talking about the deep, instinctive urges that drive children's play. These are not random, chaotic, or mischievous behaviors. Schemas are the brain's way of building essential foundations for learning, foundations your child will rely on for the rest of their lives. The Transformation Schema is all about change, how materials change in color, texture, shape, size, consistency, or appearance. And if you have a child who mixes sand with water, rubs paint up their arms, squishes food between their fingers, stirs every liquid in the house, or becomes fascinated with how ice melts, or how bubbles form, you're watching the Transformation Schema unfold in real time. Children exploring the schema aren't trying to make a mess or push limits. They're driven, neurologically driven, to understand how the world changes, what transforms, why it transforms, and what role they can play in that change. It's not only normal, it's deeply intelligent behavior. Okay, let's start by talking about the developmental purpose behind these behaviors, about why transformation matters, because the learning happening here is immense. When children engage in transformation play, they're experimenting with the fundamental scientific principle of cause and effect. They're learning things like how materials react, what melts, dissolves, mixes, separates, sticks, foams, or changes color. They're looking at how states of matter shift, from liquid to solid, solid to mush, dry to wet. They're looking at how force changes matter, what squishes, breaks, grinds, crumbles, or stretches. They're looking at how combining materials work. What happens when you add water, or heat, or pressure, or friction? These are all early seeds of chemistry, physics, biology, and creative experimentation. And we really can't underestimate the learning here. Transformation play strengthens cause and effect understanding. They're thinking, when I do X, Y happens. They're using predicting and estimating. What if I add more water? Creative thinking. Can I make this look different? Critical thinking. Why didn't that work? Fine motor skills. Squeezing, stirring, grinding, mixing, pouring. They have sensory processing, exploring those textures, temperatures, resistance. Children building the transformation schema are literally developing their scientific mindset long before they ever enter into a classroom. So when your child is elbow deep in mud, or covered in chalk dust, or creating a questionable potion made from grass and dish soap, they are doing high value learning. And that's exactly why the schema matters so much. Okay, let's look at what transformation play looks like in real life. Thinking everyday play, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here are some classic signs that your child is exploring transformation. They may be mixing substances, water and dirt, paint colors, sand and soap, flour and water. You may see high sensory exploration, like squishing Play-Doh, squeezing slime, crushing leaves in their hands. They might be doing a lot of pouring and stirring, endlessly stirring cups, bowls, puddles, or imaginary soups. They might be painting on themselves, on their legs, their hands, their arms, even their face. Watching states change, maybe watching ice melt, bath bombs fizzing, clouds forming, shadow shifting. There may be food transformation, mashing bananas, spreading butter, mixing cereal until it goes all mushy. They might be making potions or soup. My boys love making yucky soup outside with a pot from the mud kitchen and random pickings from around the garden. Fill it with water and then serve it to you. Bonus points if you make an absolutely disgusted face when you pretend to drink it. Which leads to experimenting outdoors, mud kitchen creations, puddle play, mixing natural materials, or being fascinated by life cycles, caterpillars transforming, flowers wilting, seeds sprouting. And let's just acknowledge something important here. Transformation play can be, or more likely will be messy, but it also will likely be inconvenient. It can, or more likely again, leave your house looking like a low-budget science lab, unless you set up for it well, which is the joy of knowing about play schemas and how they work. But with that all said, it is always purposeful. Your child is always following a deep cognitive instinct to understand change, how it works, and why it happens. Let's lean into it. Okay, now we're saying lean into it. I want to front foot this and reassure you that these behaviours are normal. Again, I will say these behaviours are normal. Children exploring the transformation schema are not trying to be naughty or defiant or too messy. They're responding, again, I've said it, to a neurological drive that is incredibly important for brain development. Transformation begins extremely early, from the moment a baby realizes they can smear mashed pumpkin across the tray, to toddlers splashing in puddles, to preschoolers doing full-scale mud kitchen experiments, just like junior chemists. And yes, if you are in the thick of it, you may be seeing another bowl of water mixed with dirt and grass, another set of hands stained from paint mixing, another sensory recipe that now includes soap, bioglitter, and questionable food scraps. It can feel repetitive, but the repetition is how the brain learns. Every time your child mixes, squishes, pours, blends, melts, grinds, or transforms something, their brain is gathering data. The more understanding, the more sensory information, the more mastery. When we understand these behaviours are schema-driven, it becomes so much easier to support learning, to set up safe and appropriate play experiences, and to respond with empathy, not with frustration when the play gets messy. Because if your child is constantly mixing, transforming, changing, or experimenting, they are learning exactly what they need to learn. And your support makes all the difference. It can make all the difference between those big emotions, aka tantrums, and smooth sailing. If you lean into the messy middle of the transformation play schema, you can really work with your child rather than against them and have fun and enjoy this stage. The more you fight against it, the more likely you are to have those big emotions, or have mixtures made in secret or hidden in the corner of the room, and no one wants to find a yucky soup a week later. Lastly, I want to say, go with it. As we wrap up the introduction to the transformation schema, remember messy play is meaningful play, and I encourage you to lean into it, to go with it. It's not a lack of boundaries, it's not misbehaviour, it's not your child trying to ruin your carpet. It's a powerful form of learning, deeply rooted in neurological development. Now, one thing we haven't quite covered, there's one more type of transformation play, and that's when they transform themselves. This is where they do dress-ups. My boys love a good tail. They can become anything with a good tail. It might be when they like to put on aprons, face paint, or they want to be you. That's when they're transforming into a character or a different person. That's one we'll come to more and more videos, but I just wanted to touch on it here because it's a very important part of transformation as well. Now, remember, if you do ever have any questions about transformation play, whether it's how to support it, how to manage the mess, or how to just set up in safe ways, you can ask Archie the Archives King all things transformation, or just reach out. You can send me a DM or add a comment below. Just don't forget to tag me using @RuthVirgo so I don't miss it. I'll see you in the next video. If you've ever wished that you had a group of parents who just get it, I would like to welcome you to the Play Schemas Collective. It's where you can ask questions without judgment, share those little wins only another parent would understand, and dive deeper into your child's play with people who speak your language. Join us at playschemas.com/collective for more information. We can't wait to have you on the inside.